Your success shouldn't feel like something you have to justify. It should be coming from a place of abundance, and you should be able to show up like the unapologetic leader you need to be, the unapologetic CEO you need to be, which is why I'm so excited about today's podcast episode for CEO Conversations, the Private Practice Podcast with Shawniel Chamanlal. Shawniel Chamanlal is a licensed clinical social worker, a amazing private practice owner, a seven-figure private practice owner, and now a author of Unapologetic Success, How to Dream Beyond Your Limits and Unlock Fulfillment in All Areas of Your Life. She's doing amazing things, amazing things. So I'm super excited for you guys to listen to this episode.
Manifesting your desires and manifesting itself is goal setting with a spiritual twist.
Because I had the vision, then everything was coming towards me.
And I put that on my vision board and I was just like, everyone, this is what I'm going to do.
Welcome to CEO Conversations, the Private Practice Podcast. I'm your host, Brandy Mabra. This is your one-stop shop to learn the business side of your practice on a deeper level. On this show, we empower you to own your CEO status to scale your practice for growth, sustainability, and profit. Listen in as we talk about how to market your practice to gain more visibility, hire, build, and engage your ride or die dream team, create streamlined operations, and make financial decisions as a CEO. It's time to show up as a confident leader to create a practice and life you love. Let's get started. Let's go ahead and dive into everything about unapologetic success. So welcome, Shawniel, to your second time on CEO Conversations, the Private Practice Podcast. So if you would like to go ahead and introduce yourself, because there's a new title that you got going on.
Well, thank you for having me again on the podcast. I am so honored to be here with you. And I'm Shawniel Chamanlal, and I am a licensed clinical social worker, speaker, author. Now I can add that to my title.
Yay.
And the CEO and founder of Healing Springs. So I'm just so excited to continue to expand professionally. And I'm just excited to be here with you. You've been such a pivotal part of my growth.
I just love it so much. And so I know that when it came to you writing this book, one of the things is you've always been a big believer in dreaming big and going after like that unapologetic success. So since you are a newly coined author and your book has just launched, so of course we're going to have in the show notes so everyone can go and buy it and purchase it, who is listening to. But do you want to talk a little bit about your book, Unapologetic Success? And just the premises of it. I have a copy here, so make sure you get it. And just what's in the book and what are people, what's in store for folks.
Yeah, so Unapologetic Success, and the subtitle is How to Dream Beyond Your Limits and Have More Fulfillment in Your Life, right? We, as women and marginalized voices, sometimes we have, or a lot of times, we've been conditioned to have limits placed on us, whether by society, whether by our family, and even our self-imposed limits. And it's just important that we dream bigger and really look at what that dream is that we've kind of closed up in our heart. And a lot of us have achieved a lot of things in life, but it helps you to look deeper on the things that you want, whether it's professional success, whether it's a relationship, right? Because we tend to do, or I can have a successful career or a successful relationship. And in this book, we talk about what is it, the things that you value, and how can we have that abundance and really show up as our authentic selves and live our life to the fullest.
I love it so much. I mean, you're just speaking my language in so many different ways. And I think that for us specifically as Black women and just, even what you're talking to, like in marginalized communities, there's certain things that get poured into us where we maybe see something different. And so there's a chapter in the book that talks to, I'm going to, flip to it. It's chapter 4, but, like, from vision to reality, and like, when you do have a big vision, there's a story that you have about Sandra and just, like, her embracing challenges and manifesting success, and so the quote is, "During weekly accountability check-ins, monitored Sandra's spiritual and professional growth and gave her an opportunity to see the divine hand at work in her life. Each small achievement was celebrated as evidence of her trust in God and materializing her vision, which significantly alleviated the pressures she once felt." So there's steps that you give folks. And one of the biggest things that came across to me is like the importance of having an alignment with your faith as you're taking action in order for you to truly see that vision come to a reality. So do you want to walk folks through like some of the steps that you went through with Sandra? And because I'm sure for the folks who are listening, big dreams, big goals, feels like maybe it's not going to happen. So tell us more.
Going back to the root of manifesting,
Mhm.
I always say that manifesting your desires and manifesting itself is goal setting with a spiritual twist,
Mhm.
right? Is that having that clear vision of what you want, like what Sandra wanted in her life, and being able to then take aligned action that is aligned with who you are, with your own values, right? And it's not just because someone else wants it, it's not because of comparison, it's something that's truly in your heart. And that part of taking those small steps to be able to get to the bigger vision, right? That aligned action is so important. But we are conditioned again to believe that put those limits, put ourselves in these boxes that with our faith, right? I always say, God, give me this or even better,
Mhm.
leaving room for the better because you can't see what's beyond. So you need that faith as you're taking those steps to what you desire. And then knowing that, again, abundance, right? Like things are going to unfold and you don't need to hold on to it so tightly
Mhm.
with that desperation energy, but it's knowing that things will unfold in your divine timing and that, God, the universe will put the right people and situations and opportunities in front of you. So the clarity that you have, the faith that you have, and the action that you take will set you up for that success and
Mhm.
align with your desire.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's like comes down to belief and what I hear you saying is letting go of the how. You know, how are you going to get to that? Like if you have the vision and you believe that the vision is going to come true and you step into that, then the vision just automatically manifests itself. And when you believe bigger and have faith in, definitely for me, God, then it's almost like it's a guaranteed home run. And so I know, like, even in the chapter, you talked to how this correlated for her taking actions in her business, right? And because she had this aligned steps and aligned faith, then she saw a difference in how she was showing up in her business. She saw a difference of like just how she was marketing. I mean, everything else too. So what do you think is the connection? Like what makes it, because when we're thinking about vision, and as a CEO, so when we're thinking about vision and how this plays out in people's businesses, what have you seen?
I think confidence is the
Mhm.
thing that is hard. Like when you have to have confidence in your vision
Mhm.
and in your dream, like the belief that it's gonna happen. And
Mhm.
I think that when people are not clear on that vision, they're kind of like wishy-washy, like, I think it could happen. I'm halfway committing to that dream. That brings a lot of confusion and self-doubt. And so if you can really take the time to say, this is what I'm going to do. And if I'm having doubt or worry or fear, then what is at the root of that? How am I showing up
Mhm.
in that vision, right? And I think that's what I see a lot with clients is that kind of like wishy-washiness. And I say, do you truly believe that the vision that you have set forth will happen? And same thing with business. Like, are you ready to commit to this? Can you see it for yourself? Sometimes it's a no. And okay, what needs to be done? Who are the people that you need to align with to take this vision to reality? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This is so good, so good. Because I think some of it could be where people could be like, "Oh, this is kind of woo woo." What's the strategy? Like, what, what's the strategy? But it honestly, I know for me, I've experienced this in my life where I've been so committed to the vision and where I can actually see the vision as unfolding. I've been able to step into, um, I can see myself in the room, and I can see myself like looking at like the bank account. I can see myself being this certain type of person or whatever that vision is, and then to when you actually get to it, it wasn't exactly how I thought that I would get there, but it just kind of, because I had the vision, then everything was coming towards me that allowed for me to step into the vision, right? Hey, private practice owner, I have great news. Private Practice CEO is officially open for enrollment. So if you've been sitting at your desk frustrated with the business side of your practice, not too sure what to do about your team dynamic, haven't looked at your numbers in a while, then this program is for you. Inside of Private Practice CEO, we're all about you scaling your practice for growth, sustainability, and profit, making sure that we are setting you up for success. So that way you can leverage your practice. You can have freedom of time in your practice, and you don't have to sit there burned out, frustrated, and overwhelmed because you're not sure what to do next. If any of this sounds great to you, then I want to make sure that you apply today because the program is phenomenal. We have amazing testimonials for practice owners who have been able to have more structure, able to make more money, being able to lead from a place of empowerment, and definitely been able to leverage their practice to go after more. So click the link today. So I'm curious because I know that you talk about yourself in the book and your story and how there were folks who, even with you opening up the practice, some folks said not to do it and all the things. So do you want to share maybe some of your story and some of the visions that you have or had in your journey to manifest them to get you to where you are today?
Yeah, I think one of the pivotal stories in the book is just wanting to open up my own private practice. And that was maybe in like 2010, having the vision, that I wanted this for myself. And back then, that was a retirement destination for therapists, right? You had to go into agency and do all the other things. It wasn't the thing for a young person to want to do or attain. And people would say, "No, you're crazy for wanting to do that." And I just kept on having affirmations. I would go against the grain. I'm a rich social worker. I'm going to have this practice. I didn't know how it was going to unfold. I remember doing a vision board for the first time and I found a lady who had like an image of a line out the door. So I just like cut my last name on top of her door and I put that on my vision board and I was just like, everyone, this is what I'm going to do. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I kept on even saying, like, I'm a rich social worker. I'm a rich social worker. Come to find out, there was a group, a woman who was leading other social workers to develop business skills. And the name of her group was Rich Social Worker. And so I joined that. And I was like, oh, this is in alignment. I didn't even
Mhm.
know, I didn't have that language in, but I'm like, this makes sense.
Yeah.
And she's the one who taught me how to, create a business. And so that mentorship, like not having the how,
Mhm.
but the opportunities were coming. And it's like you're
Mhm.
magnetic to the right people in the situations and you say yes. And that trajectory, it took me years, but I knew that every step that I took was getting me closer to what I wanted, which was the private practice that morphed
Yeah.
into the wellness center. I remember even seeing a image like your website,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Oh, she's a badass." Like, I would just look at it and I'm like, "I want to meet you one day." I literally said that. I was like, "I want to meet." You were in that sparkly dress, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And bam, you're my coach. I was
Right.
like, "Yes!" Yeah, I
No.
was excited. I was
Mhm.
like, "Yes." So
Yeah.
saying yes to those opportunities, people too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you touched on something 'Cause, like, I think when you actually say yes to the vision, then the resources that you need, the people that you need, it all comes to you, right? Because of that energy alignment and because you said yes. And I think some folks, they get stuck on that where, "Oh, if I say yes, what how am I gonna do it?" And what they don't recognize is, like, waiting behind the scenes or waiting on the other side of this is the right mentor or the right team member or the right colleague or the right post or the right information, the right podcast, the right book, like everything is going to come towards you that you need in order, like every resource that you need. This is why I said every resource that you need for that vision is going to happen because you said yes to the vision. So, for folks who are maybe on the fence of saying yes to the vision, how do you get them out of fear and to allow for them to fully step into the abundance? What are some things that you do?
So some of the things that I do, I think part of it is the self-awareness of, okay, let's talk about it. Do you, going back to again the belief, like, do you truly believe that this is happening? What are the worries? What are the fears that are coming up? As a therapist, I feel like I have the edge too of
Mhm.
like being able to say, like, to unroot some of the things, even somatically in your
Mhm.
body. Like, okay, if you say you want $100,000, seven-figure practice, right? Or I'm gonna make it even
Yeah.
bigger because you talk about seven figures, and someone says it, and they're gonna automatically just say, "Yeah, yeah, that's what I want." And
Mhm.
then I'm gonna ask them again, "Do you truly believe that's what you can have?" And they might say, I'm not sure. Where is that worry? Where's that doubt resonating in your body? Right? Let's trace it back. Let's journal about it. Let's do some work around that to understand what is coming up. What are the limiting beliefs that might be
Mhm.
coming up for you? And even just awareness and acknowledgement is such a great step because it releases that self sabotage, and you can know, okay, what are the actions that I need to take to make that happen? Scripting, visualization is so another necessary tool. And you talked about it, like when you had your goals and dreams, you could
Mhm.
picture yourself in the room, you could picture what your bank account looked like, right? Writing it out as if it's already happened for you. And how does that feel? Excitement, all those amazing emotions, and let's anchor those in. Like, sometimes it's repetition, reading that story, that script over and over again, visualizing it, so that new belief, right, is like entering into your atmosphere, your mind, your body. And so that part, and then again, action. What supports do I need to make this happen? Coach, mentorship, sharing to the world your dream. When I
Mhm.
wanted to speak 2 years ago, I told everybody. I was shamelessly posting it on Facebook, everywhere, my vision board,
Mhm.
and 2 Facebook friends helped me to get my first talking gig, right? So it's like being able to fully immerse yourself in that and recondition your beliefs to know that is possible. It's gonna be so important. Yeah.
Yeah, like it has to become your identity. That's what I've learned is it has to become your identity where it's almost like it's a non-negotiable. Like this is who I am. This is how I show up. This is, this is the car I drive. This is the house I live in. These are the vacations I take. Like duh. Like it just is what it is. So I think like the fully stepping into the person that you want to have, like the person that you want to be, and fully recognizing that the abundance is there and then just believing it like it's already there. So I just think that this book is just so amazing. And I think it's such an easy read. It's very digestible and just like even the step by steps that you're giving that, and it's practical things. Like it's nothing that anybody could not do, or to make an excuse for, "I don't have time." Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Like, like even the fact of, yeah, just even with like the 6 steps in chapter 4. Like I love chapter 4 because I love the manifestation. I think that that's so neat. Like I just think that's so neat. So I'm curious to know how, like when you stepped into this vision, just to kind of go behind the scenes, stepping into the vision of writing this book, what were some of the things that maybe you implemented from the book for you to get to where you are today with your book launch?
As someone that already had achieved a good amount of things, career, spouse, wellness center of my dreams, I still have people in the background like, why do you want more? Like, isn't it enough? What are you doing? And so the first part of it was being unapologetic myself and be like, this is nowhere near the end of my story. There is still so much impact that I want to create. And again, drowning out the naysayers, even drowning out my self-imposed limitations of like, do you have time to do do you
Yeah.
have time to do this, right? That time scarcity was coming up. And so I got a writing coach, right? I
Mhm.
had someone that held me accountable to write this book, to position myself as this expert. So that was important. And taking time to really visualize, like I had on my vision board at the time, the myself as an author, I titled it. And so I had something to look at, to concretely look at and work towards,
Mhm.
and just chipping away by those action steps of writing, dedicating time, to write this book. And editing was a hot mess. like all the things, and my editor was just like, "Girl, you got to rewrite this thing." So it took me an extra 4 months
Mhm.
to rewrite things. But again, that accountability of like, no, this is good, but
Mhm.
it could be great. So that accountability and the people in my corner and the times that I wanted to give up, having those people to cheer me on, my cheerleaders to
Mhm.
drown out the self doubt, the naysayers, physical naysayers, to make this a reality. And so when I had the tangible book in my hand and I'm like, oh my goodness. And there's a chapter in the book about celebrating your wins
Mhm.
and just taking some time before launching it into the world to really celebrate
Yeah.
how far I've come in like the year it took to write it. And during my book launch, I wrote a letter to my past self
Mm.
and really just thanked her for not giving up, for pursuing her dreams. And I looked around the room and I said, all of you were just a dream. And now you're standing in front of me as my reality, and just again celebrating those wins and just like, this is, I did it.
Yeah.
And then a little to my future of like, we're not done because we want global impact, right? So, but
Yes.
just that kind of like just continuing. So
Mhm.
everything you see in that book is things that I have applied to myself and that has worked with my clients because it works, and
Mhm.
it, like you said, it's tangible,
Mhm.
and I'm living proof of that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people get so stuck in there must be like some really sophisticated strategy and some of the easiest things to do is no, it's the belief, it's the faith, it's the accountability because even with Sandra you talked about that. It was the weekly accountability that really helped her to step into something bigger too. So you have to set yourself up like you have to set yourself up to be set up for success and create the environment that you need in order to do amazing things. So Shawniel, I'm just so like I'm trying to, just I don't know, try to find the words, but I am just so proud of you and so excited. And I know you're proud of yourself. And it's just been really fun to watch. It's just fun to watch you up level and continue to up level and go after more and to fully go after your dreams. So unapologetically. So
Yes. And I appreciate for you for pushing me beyond my limits.
mm,
And like I said, God has sent me the right people.
mhm.
And you always need people that are like, I always say like above you or show you what you can achieve because they're living in that. And you continue to live and show us that it is possible. So I'm so happy to have you in my corner and I'm so appreciative for being on this podcast again and you reading my book and loving it. It means so much to
Yes.
me.
Such a great job, great job. So where can folks find you? And again, like if everybody needs to go out and get this book because you can literally start today and implement things today. Like seriously. So of course we'll have the link in show notes too, but where can folks find you? And where is all the book at too?
So the book is available on Amazon. So there's the paperback and the Kindle version, and we're looking to do Audible because I love Audible. So that'll be coming down the pipeline. But you can find me on Instagram. It's my first and last name. So there's a lot of motivational things, and if you're local to Connecticut, we always have like events and networking events going on. And and my website is shawnielchamanlal.com. Very simple. You could just type my name in and you'll find me.
Yep, she's the only one. I know that. All right, well, thank you, Shawniel, for this amazing conversation, and we'll see everyone next time. Bye. Thanks for listening today. I hope you enjoyed the episode and it empowers you as the CEO of your practice. If you enjoyed the podcast, please make sure you subscribe, share the message, and leave a review. If you want more information and support in growing and scaling your practice, click the link in the show notes to take advantage of our free resources or apply to work with me directly. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.